Good evening and welcome to the Speaker MC Show. Yes, it's the first show of the new year. Woo, woo, woo. Did you miss us? Well, we missed you. Yes, the Speaker MC Show. In case you missed us all of last year, we decided to just rev up our topics this year. So even though it's still the same premise, you'll see this show is going to be really, really spectacular. And you'll see why. I'll unfold in a minute. Today's topic is about marriage, but marriage in the 21st century. We are calling it the new death row. Yes, a different look at marriage in the 21st century. And we'll be going from 9 p.m. Eastern until 10 p.m. Eastern. And you are welcome to ask any questions, interact with our guests, our two beautiful women. You're going to get to meet them. And just ask them any question, whether it's about the show topic, how you can get in contact with them, what it is that they talk about. Feel free to do so. But this show is going to be something else. So here's how it's going to unfold. We're going to do the intro, show overview, then we're going to take a little break, and then you're going to come back and say hi to our guests. Well, I'll read their bios so they can wave to you and say, hey, and then we'll start our discussion. After we do our discussion, then we'll take another little break, and we'll come back and provide some solutions for you with regard to what we discussed. And then our guests will have some time by themselves to talk to you, let you know who they are, how you can connect with them, and what gift they bring to the world, and how they deliver their gift to the world, whether it's retreats or online, but you'll hear from them later on in the show. And then we'll come back and we'll say goodbye, and you'll see us the next time, right? That's how we're going to unfold. So the overview for the show tonight, part one. What's a designer marriage? Well, everybody knows the regular marriages, right? Boy meets girl, girl meets boy. They talk. Oh, yeah, I love you. You want to marry me? Oh, let's marry each other. Okay, sounds good. I want kids. Do you want kids? Okay, then we have the kids. Then, okay, now who's going to take care of the house? Well, you stay home, take care of the kids, and I'll go out and find work. Okay, then the hubby's job is to water the lawn, mow the fence, take the dog out, you know, the protector and the provider. He goes to work, bring home the bacon, excuse me, and the wife says, you're not bringing home enough bacon. What about me? You're spending all your time at work. Blah, 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 blah. You know, a guy must have done this slide because it seems like from a male perspective, you know, a woman bashing. But anyway, I do continue. So then the wife starts to feel, oh, he's paying no attention to me. And then here comes this place where 2 billion people reside. She gets introduced to Facebook. Facebook. Oh my gosh, let me go see. Oh, and then the romance starts. The romance outside of the marriage, outside of the twosome. Now it becomes a threesome. And before you know it, she is telling hubby, why don't you go and play golf with your friends? Go ahead and play golf. Leave me to my alone time. So she can sneak off and be with her newfound friend, Facebook friend, right? And before you know it, hubby says, how could you have done this to me? I provided for you. Yeah, this has to be from a man's perspective. But anyway, it's not uncommon, you know, 21st century, they have stats that say that women are doing more cheating than men in these marriages. So I take it back. Well, if this is your first time on the Speaker MC Show, and that was a whole lot for you to take in, well, let me tell you what we talk about. On the Speaker MC Show, we talk about how we treat ourselves, our environment, and each other. It's 60 minutes candid conversation with me, your host, and 2 phenomenal guests. Yes, and you're going to get to meet them in a few minutes. 2 guests and me, candid conversations. It's not an interview. It's just a talk show, for lack of a different expression. But we talk. We talk, free-flowing conversation, and you're going to have fun. Why? Because we have three intentions. For you, we want to empower and enlighten you about creating harmonious environments and boosting your self-confidence. Yes. And for our guests, we provide a platform of opportunity so that they can share their message. And for everyone, we're just going to have fun because we're going to laugh, we're going to talk. And if you have some wine, well, I have some coconut water, you know, that's my specialty tonight. But you can sip and laugh and commune with us, all right? But we're going to have a lot of fun. So, the new death row, a different look at the 21st century designer marriages. We're going to talk about what it is and its effect that it has on how we relate to each other. Let's talk about the types of marriages. I'm not sure how many of you know all these types, but I'm telling you, one or two of them kind of blew my head away. More than likely, most of us know about monogamy. One man, one wife. Yeah. Or we know about polygamy or polyandry, where it's one man and several wives, which is polygamy, or one woman and several husbands, which is polyandry. Now, that's something that I think I'd like to explore. Anyway, I digress. Then we have the open marriage, which is an open non-monogamy partnership. There happens to be a lot of those popping up these days as well. And what about the same-sex partnership? A lot of that, there were laws that were passed for this to be legal, right? And we have common law, which a lot of us know that's been around for centuries, and the arranged marriages. Now, that's something that kind of hurts me because it exploits little children, but we'll talk about that in a minute as well. Now, this one blew my socks off. Surrogate marriages, where the husband marries the dead wife's sister. What if she doesn't have a sister? What if she's an only child like me? Then what does he do? Makes you want to go, And then we have the walking marriage. Now, in my workshops, I talk about the walking marriages of the Mosu tribe in Tibet. Yeah, some real, I can't curse on this one, but you know, some real go hard sisters down there in Tibet. Wait till you hear how they function. And then the new thing that's popping up is the sologamy, yeah, where women decide to marry themselves. That's popping up a lot in Japan. Now, the arranged marriages, I mentioned it before. I saw this article and I thought it was apropos for this show tonight. And I'm just going to read it. It says, according to the UN, 40% of young women in South Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa are married by age 18. By age 18, not at, by. So they start from 12, 13, 14, 15. These are children, okay? And most of them are not marrying other children. They're marrying, look at that grown-ass man with his head all tied up. Yeah, they're marrying men. Child marriage not only increases the chance of complications of giving birth that often prove fatal, but also contravenes the fundamental human right of choice of partnership. In Pakistan, women are expected to accept arranged marriages, and refusal can lead to honor killings. That typically goes uncontested by the government. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there in the event that no one knew that this was still going on, 21st century. And here are some statistics. Pew Research, for the past 10 years, created this chart showing a growing share of Americans who are unpartnered. Does that mean that marriage is on the decline? I don't know. Back in 2000, from 2007 to 17, the younger group, less than 35 years, up to 61% of them were getting married. Well, after 65, I guess it's understandable why that's on the decline. But look at the middle range, 55 to 64. The second marriages, the third marriages, you know? Yeah. This group I mentioned before, the Mosu culture, yeah, they're located high in the Himalayas in China. And for generations, the women have been the matriarchs. They control the Mosu household. They're responsible for passing down property and the family name. And every child that's born within this tribe, they are bound to the mothers. So you know what that means? That means, oh, and men may visit their current spouses, but only at night. That's the tradition that's known as walking marriages. So the positive result of that kind of arrangement, there's no divorce, there's no baby mama drama, there is no child custody, or, oh, he didn't give me my money this month, because everybody is raised under the matriarch's roof. Isn't that phenomenal? Yeah, the Mosu culture. Yeah. Well, I've done a lot of talking, so we're going to take a small little break, and we'll be right back. Now, here's a word from our sponsor. Too much of this or this? When was the last time you had this or this? Been a while? If you're in the New York area, join us for champagne and chocolate conversations. It's at a comfy, convenient location where you learn 3 things you can do daily to have more energy for your nighttime activities. No nightclub, no kitty chatter. It's adult conversations. Usually it's at the last Saturday between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. If you are a S.W.E.L.L member, S.W.E.L.L members enter with full access pass. If you're a guest, that means you're not a S.W.E.L.L member, you'll enter for a fee of $27. Bring a +1, pay a +$7. Bring a +1 for +7, that's right. And it's usually, like I said, the last Saturday between 7 to 9 p.m. Join our meetup group for the details. http://join meetup group. That's bit.ly, join meetup group. You get the details there. You'll find out when and where we'll be meeting. See you then for some champagne and chocolate conversations. And now a word from our sponsor. Are you bored? Need some spice to your boudoir activities? How about this? Or this? Too much? Well, here's the perfect solution. Just Insane Leather. Yeah, pick the right amount of kink pick-me-up. Just Insane Leather. Bondage, restraints. Here are some options. The Latigo binders. Or how about that crocodile leash? Or put them together and you have the crocodile collar and the leash. Just Insane Leather. www.justinsaneleather.com. Handcrafted, hand-dyed exotic hides from sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah, meet the master craftsman himself, Mr. Just Insane. Just Insane Leathers, he was the nominee for the 2017 XBiz Award, the Asphyxiation Safety Collar. That's right, save a life. Be the unselfish lover. Just Insane Leather, www.justinsane.com. Get back that cuddly feeling at Just Insane Leather, www.justinsaneleather.com, or give them a call at 928-583-4819. Add the spice back to your life with Just Insane Leather, www.justinsaneleather.com, or 928-583-4819. And now a word from our sponsor. Well, ladies, we are back. We are back. Okay. Now, we are here to say hi to our guests. Let me unmute. Unmute. Yes, yes, yes. Our guests this evening are some phenomenal women. What can I say? What can I say? Rukshana Triem. Rukshana. I don't even remember where I met Rukshana, but Rukshana is a women's lifestyle coaching, and she hails from the Milwaukee, Oregon area. Rukshana, say hello!
Hello, everyone. Thanks for the shout out. I feel like I'm at a game. This is exciting.
That's right. It's all about the fun. Welcome to the SpeakerMC Show, and we are so honored to have you here this evening, Rukshana.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very excited to be here.
Yes. Rukshana's area of expertise is helping moms and women around the world change their story. She has a gift for us today because you know we love gifts. Rukshana, let me move this over. Rukshana is a coach, international speaker, author, and publisher. From refugee to success, helping women to change their story. She's a former refugee from Mozambique. I've yet to visit there. And she came to the United States in the 1990s. She overcame trauma and sexual abuse and became an advocate for parents and child care providers so they can provide support for them on their healing journey. She is now a CEO of her women's lifestyle coaching business, where she helps women overcome their rough past and create their beautiful life through nature retreats and different online coaching programs and communities. When she's not working, she's spending time with her husband dancing and her girls who are currently in college and volunteering, taking women to the outdoor adventures, hiking and backpacking. That is so true, because every picture I see of Rukshana, she's with some snow on some mountain and some grass. You know, she's always outside. So welcome to the show, Rukshana.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here today.
Yay, we're happy to have you. And our next phenomenal lady is none other than Miss Tina A. Greenbaum. Yes, Tina!
Hi!
Tina hails from the Emory, California area, and Tina is a speaker, with her area of expertise being peak performance and stress management. Tina, welcome to the SpeakerMC Show.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes.
Yes.
So happy to have you here this evening. Tina Greenbaum, she is a licensed clinical social worker, an optimal performance specialist, and a dynamic workshop leader. Throughout her extensive career of 35 years, she's been a pioneer in combining traditional psychotherapy with body awareness, energy psychology, neuroscience, and spirituality. Can you imagine that concoction? Oh my God,
That's a good word.
erotic. Welcome, Tina. Welcome.
Thank you.
And of course, you might be wondering, who is that making all that ruckus? Well, that's me. I am SpeakerMC, Marcia Chambers, aka SpeakerMC. I am a speaker and a sexual wellness consultant, and my area of expertise is working with women who are lonely in their relationships to go from sexless to steamy. Yes. I had noticed that people were exchanging DNA and they were not asking the right questions. And then they were bombarding us with their dysfunctions. So my mission when I created S.W.E.L.L for women is to decrease the world's divorce rate by 50%. Based on what we just saw on that stats, it seems like it's already going down. Did I show up late to the party? Nope, I don't think so. I not only host this show, the SpeakerMC Show, but I also host S.W.E.L.L Happy Hour, S.W.E.L.L Playroom, and I co-host the Bush is Swelling Show. And they all concentrate on shifting how we think about sex and sexuality. So you will be talking more with us later on in the show, but for right now, we are going to jump into tonight's topic. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you can see our lovely faces. Yes. Woohoo! Asked to start the video. Okay, ladies, we are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What can we say about this designer marriage? These designer marriages nowadays, you have no longer the twosome in the marriage. You have 3 and 4 people. I know I've met couples where it was a heterosexual union, but then they decide, okay, we're going to invite another person, that open marriage. It blew me away. And this was maybe 10 years ago. I was first introduced to that. Blew me away. They're like, yeah, this is my husband. And yeah, she's our other wife. I'm like, really? Is that legal in New York? No, but that's how we get down. Okay. And it started to become more prevalent. I don't know if I was looking for that, why it started to just show up in my rearview mirror, but it seemed more prevalent than I thought. Have you guys ever experienced any of that?
Are you asking us?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You're asking me. I didn't know if that was a rhetorical question.
No, I'm asking you. Have you ever come across couples who engage in that kind of non-monogamy, open type marriage? I mean, still call it a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, actually, I have. And I think I may have told you the story when we talked the first time, Marsha. When I was doing a psychotherapy practice in New Hampshire, and I had somebody that called me, and she didn't give me her name, and she just said, I'm interviewing psychotherapists, and I want to know if you, what your feelings are about polygamy. It's not just polygamy. It's
polyamory.
I know what she said. She said, I'm a poly.
Okay.
And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. And I said, well, you'll have to explain it to me. And she said, my husband and I are involved in polyamorous relationships, and we're part of a community. And I've been to a lot of therapists, and there's a lot of judgment about what I do. And I said, I have no judgment. This is your life. You're coming to me, and my job is to mirror back to you what I hear you saying, perhaps in a bigger way or a different way than maybe you're just expressing it to me. And so that was my introduction. And because I was seeing her individually in psychotherapy, I was privileged to a lot of her thinking, a lot of the conversations that were going on between she and her husband. And what it came down to, I worked with her for probably about 3 years, just for her to try to sort out what worked for her. And in the end, she had been connected to another guy that was in the community, and she ended up getting a divorce from her husband and going off into a monogamous relationship with this one person. But it really opened my eyes. It opened how many people were involved and what the community was like, and the parties and kind of the connections. And then I also have a friend here who lives in Oakland, who is a coach for people who are in poly relationships.
Wow.
And she's in that world, and again, she helps people kind of navigate and find their way. And so yes, the longer I've been involved in, and certainly a lot of the other marriages that you're talking about as well, living in New York, out here in California, anything goes pretty much.
I was always of the belief that the 60s was about the exploration and the flower kids and the free love and all that. And I know they say history repeats itself, but is that what's happening here now? Or is it that people have just devalued matrimony, the office of marriage, so to speak?
Yeah. I'll say one thing, and then I'm sure Rukshana has something to offer as well. But I'm a 60s kid. I grew up in the 60s. And it was much more of just free sex, and again, in the 60s, we were younger. We were in college, or, just coming out of high school. Or so it was a very different experience. I think now, marriage is not an easy game, so to speak. I did a lot of couples work, and as I had one mentor who said it was the most difficult game in the planet. I don't really think that that's true, but the things that are required to make a really good marriage, it's the one license that you can have that you don't have to go to school for. Anybody can get the license. And who are our teachers? Our teachers were our parents, and our, in our schools. And so it's not surprising that so many marriages fail, because there's so many ingredients that have to go into creating a good marriage, a good relationship.
That's a good point you brought up. Now, are we looking for everything in that one person? I know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And Rukshana, you could probably speak to this. I mean, there are people who marry and they say, oh, my true love. And then 10 years later, they're like, I can't stand that bastard. Now, what happened to my true love? Either they stopped trying, or, they have grown and the partner hasn't grown, simultaneously with them. So they've grown apart and they no longer want each other. Or are we just putting too much pressure on, he has to be my soulmate, he has to be my best friend, he has to be my buddy, he has to be, is it too many things that we're trying to package in this one person?
I think it's both. I really think it's both, because if you look at it, marriage has a lot of expectation now. We both share the same roles. The father is doing childcare, is also doing shopping. So yes and no, but also a lot what's happening is, if you notice that with more women are open to growth, opportunity to learning, where most men are, closed off. And that's, and that's happened. Women talk to themselves and they learn, and they're open to discussion, into dialogue, and they read. And as they age, they want more. And I think also that maturity part, they start seeing who they are, what they want. And some women are not very expressive, or maybe if they are, when they get to that point where they're expressive, the partner is not ready to listen or open to that. I'm like, who are you? I don't even know who you are anymore. And, I married you 10 years ago. When you had kids, you're not this person. Who are you becoming? Or who are you, so for a man, it's kind of shocking, because they don't know who this woman is becoming, she's a mom, but yes, he met her 10 years ago. And yes, she has evolved. Time has transformed. She cannot be the same woman he met 10 years ago. I'm sure she has grown as well. So sometimes it's hard for a man, because he still sees her where he met her 10 years ago before she had kids.
So do you think, and this is part of the reason why I developed S.W.E.L. for Women, because I've encountered a lot of women who are going through these dynamics in their relationships. And not necessarily saying, a lot of them are common law marriages, right? Mm-hmm. So they say that, I can't ask him this, I can't say that to him, I can't do this. Well, I'm sorry, you're exchanging DNA. And you can't ask simple questions. You can't just express yourself with this one person. You share a boudoir. You share space. You share growings. You can't say to them, listen, my fantasy is or I would love if we did more of like we used. What's up with that? I see you nodding, Tina.
You know, what I'm thinking of is actually, again, me being a child of the 60s, and there was a lot of repression. There was also this free love, but that I wasn't a part of that. I wasn't. So whatever I learned from my girlfriends. Some of the things were useful, and some of the things weren't so useful. But it was a very controlled kind of experience. And so as I got older, I was married for 34 years, and then I got divorced because I was one of those women who married young. And what I know about sort of couples coming together, when we come together, we have to be at the same level of individuation. Otherwise, it doesn't become. Yes. So no matter who thinks that they're more involved than the other one, honestly, if we come together as a couple, we're about at the same level, right? And just as Rukshana said, you know, one partner starts to grow, and the other one may not be equal, you know, but if this one's not growing, then the separation becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And so this part of us, just exactly as, you know, and I can again speak from my own experience, I was dying inside, literally dying inside. And I never stopped doing the personal work and you know, and I just kept, and so I finally, at 57, was able to say, I'm done. Wow. I'm done. And then I left my husband in December of 2004, and in February of 2005, I was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
So that breast cancer, to me, the best definition I ever heard of depression was depressed presence.
Wow.
Right? So
can I write that down? Depressed presence.
Depressed
I like that.
presence.
Wow.
So all the things that you're talking about, you know, Marsha, about, you know, not having a voice, being afraid to speak up, it's so ingrained. And again, you come from, you know, Rukshana, you come from a different culture, and I'm sure there was a lot of that, you know, feminine repression. We don't talk. And so when I first started to date, I mean, I was like shot out of a cannon, you know, I was like 38 years later, and here I was, and people were asking me, you know, well, what do you like? What do you like? And I'm like,
I don't
know. I had a jaw that didn't open.
Yeah.
Because so, and this guy said to me, he says, I can't tell you what you like. He says, you have to tell me, you know. Yeah. But it was hard. I mean, it was really hard. I just never talked about that stuff except with my girlfriends. And so it was a whole new, really, of coming out, you know, at 57. And I remember reading an article of a woman in the New York Times, I think she was 65, and she had made a commitment that she was going to have more sex in her life than she ever had, that she was going to sleep with more men. And I never forgot that. You know? It's like, and I would just do what I felt like I wanted to do. I didn't worry about what anybody thought about me. I didn't worry about and I just, it was an incredible experience. So I really treasure what you're doing, and both of you, and helping women just be able to get the words out, get the throat open, get you know, the voice expressed. And little by little, it's this whole piece about having the voice,
asking permission.
Yeah, it's an incredible journey, and you know, men have their own issues of coming forth and becoming more emotional, and we have our own issues. You know?
That's true. Rukshana,
yes. Do
you think that we can marry our first love or our love? Because I've heard so many women who, I'm a divorcee, and I know the guy that I married, I just married my idea of being married. You know, I mean, he was a good looking guy, don't get me wrong, but I was just married to the idea of, oh, I'm a wife, you know, like that's my comeuppance or something. And there are so many other women who are like me, who marry these men and then they grow apart, yes, for whatever reason. But in the second phase, when they meet Mr. Oh, I think I'm in love. Now it's really love. Now it's like a different perspective. It's a more mature dynamic. Now they're more confident within themselves to a degree. And now they feel that they can express a little bit about their sexuality and be a little bit more like, okay, I like you. Do you like me? Kind of thing. What's your take on that? And I know you coach a lot of women, so.
Yes, I do. And one of the beautiful things I think all the women can give themselves permission is to date, because when you date, you're really getting to know who yourself. The more people you meet, the more relationship, you really get to know who you are, because you're asking questions. You're asking if you like fish, you don't like fish. You're talking about all those positions, and you're getting to know, what sexuality is. If you've never had those discussions with your parents growing up, or with your ex, or with your ex-husband, your boyfriend, that's an opportunity to grow and to be able to ask those questions. This is my third marriage, and I'm just, I divorced twice, and my two marriages did not work. And I say those were great teaching moments for me, because I remember asking my ex-husband, like, to change the sex position. He's like, what the hell are you talking about? And it was a shock. I mean, like, we have 3 kids and like at one sex different position, and he couldn't take it. So you know what I mean? So those, yes, it's a culture thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, also it's different how you think, how you're growing, but really I feel that marriage is what you feel is right for you. I know the cultures expect you to fit into a box. And I remember after I had my second child, my family kept saying, you need to get married. You need to get married. But I didn't want to get married. So I was forced into this process of, we need to get married because we already have 2 kids. And it's really, don't.
hold on 1 second right there, because I'm going to ask you.
Yes.
What's the big deal with getting married? Because I've been married once. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I know I meet partners, but nobody kind of steps up to that yoke, that equally yoked kind of phase, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think the second time around, at least this is just my mind, I don't think I want to be married. I want a partner. I want a partner with whom I can grow.
Yeah.
But what's the big deal with getting married? I mean, is it because that's what society expects of us? Is it because that's what the world is gonna, you're a wife, or he's just living with you? Is it that kind of disparity, or?
I think it's more the society. I think it's the society that you live in, and also the culture. But I also live in the city where there isn't a lot of marriages. There's a lot of partnership and relationship. So I live in Portland, Oregon, where there is a lot of open relationship. Not a lot of people are married, but you go to different states and city. That marriage is a big thing. It's a sacred thing. So it's really, and it's a culture thing. Definitely, I can see that.
I spoke with a lady in Canada. She's in actually Montreal. Mm-hmm. And she says to me, she's like, Marcia, I don't know. I don't think I want to get married. What's this deal with marriage? I just want to fuck around. I'm like, well, I mean, you do you, but she's like, yeah, I don't understand. And she says, my boyfriend, he gave me a ring and he wants me to settle down with him. I settle with him, but I won't marry him. Well, what is it about him that she's like, no, we live together and I love him, but I don't want to put on a dress and go down an aisle and have somebody so maybe that's her. But she was saying to me that in Canada, it's very rampant that way. Not a lot of women over there seem to be stuck on this marriage thing. So that's why I brought the question, like, what is the big deal, excuse me, with getting married? I mean,
well, I can tell you for me, because my first marriage was so unhappy, I had a lot of unfulfilled dreams. I hated my first wedding. Hated it. My father, I'm Jewish and he wasn't Jewish, and my father wasn't happy. And so I got this little thing that I love parties and I love celebrations. And so I always wanted a wedding. I always wanted a wedding with my family and my friends and music and a joyous occasion. So that I had in my mind for years and years and years and years. I also, I wanted to be part of a family. I wanted to be the sister-in-law. I did not want to be the girlfriend.
Well, I mean, would you still be a girlfriend? I mean, don't they have another name?
What, Marcia, again, the things that I'm saying, the things that everybody's saying are coming from their own histories and their own belief systems and their own story. There is no right or wrong. Honestly,
You're right. You're right.
I have friends that exchanged rings and they didn't want to mix their money because it would have gotten more complicated. It's also cheaper in this country to be, to file married rather than single. It's totally, but coming into a marriage consciously is very different than coming in as a young child.
Yes, I do agree.
Okay, and it's a much more sober decision.
Yes,
because we already know.
Yes,
that there's nothing that's
dumb, full of cum. Yes. I think we were all in that boat.
So I think, and again, as a woman, and maybe maybe both of you, and particularly single at this point, Marcia, it's like I put my husband through hell. He didn't even know it, but the criteria: is he this? Is he that? Is he good enough? Is he smart enough? Is he this enough? He just liked me. He was just much more accepting of me, but I put him through this ringer, of the things, because I knew. But when I got married, there were no surprises.
I really think what Tina was saying is right. I think you do what works for you. I mean, I know what society expects you. I know what family is going to say, but I think with that intuition, women know what is right, but most of the times we shut it off because we really if we look deep inside, we know what is right, and we need to speak up more for ourselves, to speak up what we feel is right. And sometimes when you speak that up, and then the partner is able to understand where you're coming from instead of just saying no, because sometimes they don't think what you're thinking. So that's why that open dialogue, communication is so important. So when I one of the experiences is when I married my husband, he wanted to have kids, and I said, I want to be with you, but I don't want to have kids. I had 3 kids, I've raised them, and he met me when the kids were teenagers. I said, I want to use this time to grow, to work on me, because I'm married young. I wanted to enjoy life. So I wanted to travel. I wanted to do all those experiences. I've never had those experiences when I was a teenager because it was robbed from the trauma and the sex abuse. So I said, I want to be with you. But deep down inside, I knew after dating with him for 9 months, I wanted him, but I wasn't explaining to him that I didn't want to have kids, but I knew I wanted to be with him. And then finally, when he proposed, and I said, listen, I want to be with you, but I don't want to give you kids because I already have 3 kids. Right. I don't want to go through that. And that was one of his category on the dating side, was he wanted to have kids. I'm like, you already have 3 kids. You can raise them. Otherwise, I guess I don't want you to spend the rest of your life hoping and waiting for me to give you kids, because that, even though I could have kids if I wanted to, but deep down, I was 32. I already knew what I wanted. I didn't want to do it again.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because that's another thing with me. I've met men, and I've been divorced for quite some time, and I've met men, and they're like, "Oh, have a baby." No. No. I had one, and for me, that was enough. And I raised her and pampered her. So, yeah, I'm done. So if that's a criteria, then, sorry, but we can be friends. You can go in the friend box. You can go in the friend zone.
Go in the friend zone.
Go in the friend zone.
Yeah, but I think you both bring up something that's really important, sort of what we were just, to be able to say, this is what's right for me. And to be able to, and willing to let somebody go. That
is not right for you.
My husband lived in Long Island. I lived in Manhattan. I said, I'll come out there for a short period of time, but if that's where you want to be, I'm not the right girl for you.
But, I'm glad you brought that up, Tina, because this is another aspect of the new age marriage. I have a girlfriend. She was married to an undertaker. and he had been previously married. And he lived in one part of Manhattan, and she lived in another part of Manhattan. Like one lived uptown, one lived downtown. And they had their separate apartments, their separate domiciles, but they were married. And I said to her, I said, well, how can you be married? She's like, it works for me. I said, oh, okay. She's like, when he's pissed off at me, I can go to my house and vice versa. And he can come and, you know, he can sleep over and it'll be like we're dating again. So it brought a certain freshness to the relationship for her. So I said, wow, that's different. When I was in real estate and I used to interview couples and they would say, oh yeah, I want a 4-bedroom house. But okay, who are the other 3 bedrooms for? Well, you know, I want to do an office. Okay, I get that. So, and you want to have people over. I get that too. So you still have 2. You're empty nesters. I mean, who's coming? No, he'll have his bedroom and I'll have mine. I'm sorry, what? So that was another thing that was also happening, you know, for whatever their reasons. Everybody had their reasons. Oh, he snores. Oh, yeah, whatever. So the dynamics of relationships and marriages, it's just like, yeah, whatever works for you. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right, ladies. Whatever works for you. But because we've been so conditioned to seeing it through one set of glasses that, you know, everything else just seems like, oh my God, you know, yeah.
Well, I think that the generation that's younger than, you know, I'm the oldest of the 3, but the younger generation, you may see this with your kids, Rukshana, or maybe your daughter. It is a different world.
Yeah.
It is a very different world. You know, bisexuality. You know, I have a cousin that is. I said to her mother, I said, you know, I was surprised that her daughter was a lesbian. She said she's not a lesbian, she's bi, and she just happened to fall in love with a woman.
Oh.
And that was the way. Okay.
Okay.
You know,
yeah.
You know, so the experimentation, the acceptance, it's, you know, my kids are, you know, my youngest is 36. And he doesn't talk too much, but he talks enough. You know, I hear enough. And it's just a very, very different world.
Yeah,
different world. Things that we say, you know, society says that their society doesn't say that. It's much more of experimentation and yet
trying to find themselves.
And yet there are certain things that developmentally that happen to us across the world. You know, just like that young woman who was my client that was a poly, there was something that she was missing in this polyamorous relationship. You know, that, you know, we want to be loved. We want to love and be loved.
And that brings me back to, are we putting too much pressure on that one person in the relationship? That one person is going to be our be all and end all. Maybe that's the solution that this new age is finding, that, you know, okay, well, you really make me feel warm and fuzzy, and I can talk to about anything, and you really rock my world in the set, you know. So everybody plays their role, and they're okay with being 1/3 of that partnership with this person. So, I mean, that's a whole different dynamic. And who am I to say, you know, hey, that's wrong or that's right? It's whatever floats your boat. It floats your boat. And talking about floating our boat, I just wanted to bring this up. I was reading an article, and I think I shared this with you before the show started. I was reading an article in my trusty magazine. So I get this magazine because it's part of what I do, right? AVN, novelties. And in the magazine, they mentioned that for married women, these married women should start investing in she-robot. Oh, darn, I lost the page. Anyway, in she-robots. And it said the she-robot gives you the girlfriend experience without the girl. It's a silicone sex doll, and they're encouraging wives to buy these for their husbands. They also mentioned that there is now something that's trending in Barcelona, Tokyo, Dublin, and coming soon to London. They're called sex doll brothels. Who knew? Try it. They say rent and try before you buy.
Rent.
Rent and try before you buy. That's right. Can't take it home. You gotta rent it. I tell you, this is the 21st century.
Now I'm curious just to see how it looks like and what kind of texture it has. I'm just curious.
Well, I know when I went to the show last year and they had a lot of these silicone lifestyle dolls. Their texture, because silicone has evolved, you know, and you feel it, and it feels just like skin. It feels like it's pungy. It's oh, it feels like soft skin. It feels like a baby's skin. It makes you feel like, ooh, I want you to hug me, kind of thing. You know, it just feels so lifelike. Whew. I don't know.
Yeah.
I want him. I would stick with human contact. It's okay.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay, we are coming almost to the close of the show. I am going to give us a brief pause. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm doing this correct. That's right. That's right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And here we go. Here we go. And now a word from our sponsor. Are you bored? Need some spice to your boudoir activities? How about this? Or this? Too much? Well, here's the perfect solution. Just Insane Leather. Yeah, pick the right amount of kink pick-me-up. Just Insane Leather. Bondage, restraints. Here are some options. The Latigo binders. Or how about that crocodile leash? Or put them together and you have the crocodile collar and the leash. Just Insane Leather. www.justinsaneleather.com. Handcrafted, hand-dyed exotic hides from sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah, meet the master craftsman himself, Mr. Just Insane. Just Insane Leathers, he was the nominee for the 2017 XBiz Award, the Asphyxiation Safety Collar. That's right, save a life. Be the unselfish lover. Just Insane Leather, www.justinsane.com. Get back that cuddly feeling at Just Insane Leather, www.justinsaneleather.com, or give them a call at 928-583-4819. Add the spice back to your life with Just Insane Leather, www.justinsaneleather.com. And now a word from our sponsor. Are you stressed out? That pile of bills have you feeling fearful? Are you that single mom who needs a break? Well, as a single mom, you need time for yourself. You need periodic stress boosters. They're necessary so that you can bring happy back to your life. Javita has a solution where you can reduce the stress and find time for yourself. It's 42 days to mindset rejuvenation for single moms. Yes, 42-day mindset rejuvenation. Check it out at www.javitanmiller.com or give her a call at 540-412-8406. Ask Javita. It's 42 days to devise a plan with personal mentoring for you to get back to happy. Let Javita mentor you. Connect with her. www.javitanmiller.com. That's www.javitanmiller.com or 540-412-8406. Remember, connect with her at www.javitanmiller.com or 540-412-8406. Yeah, let her help you to get back to happy. All right. So we are at the close of the show, ladies. And I wanted to be able to give you ladies your 5 minutes. Yes, we're at part 6, where we can meet you and chat with you and find out a little bit more about you. So we plucked straws before, and Rukshana, you said that you will be going first.
Yes.
So Rukshana, take it away. All yours. Let me stop sharing.
All right. Sounds wonderful. So I am a women's lifestyle. I'm located here in Portland, Oregon, and my business is a women's lifestyle coaching where I help women transform their lives. So if you are struggling with dating, if you keep finding yourself in the old patterns and attracting the wrong male, I can help you move through that. If you're struggling with money, and I can help you through that as well, or just helping you through creating and designing the life that you dream of. So that's what I do through my one-on-one coaching. I usually have 12 weeks coaching, and then I also have group coaching. I do that through group coaching. And then you have an opportunity also to join me on one of the retreats. I have one coming up in San Diego, California, and I also have one here in Oregon. And the retreats are really to help you get away to a nice, beautiful place and kind of practice some of those skills that you have learned through coaching and get those hands-on. And we go through a hike and connect with nature and letting go of that stress and really give yourself a really rewarding gift that you deserve. So if you check out my website, womenslifestylecoaching.com, there is all the products there where you can check it out. And I also have a gift. You can schedule a 30 minutes discovery call. So to see if we're a match, we can work together. So that way I can help you, or I can direct you to someone else who can help you. And through that, I also have a 3-day meditation package where it gives you a guidance how you can learn how to meditate. And also you can download a free booklet on how to create habits to start off this new year for, like goals and habits to implement into your lifestyle. So that's a little bit about me.
All right. And they can connect with you where?
And they can connect with me through Facebook at Rukshana Triem, or on my website. They can schedule an appointment with me. I have my schedule there. They can schedule a time with me and I'll get back to you. Or I also have a community. They can join my community on Facebook, where I'm always inspiring, doing live videos, free trainings. If you want to be involved, if you're ready to create that lifestyle that you deserve, you can join the community. It's called a Women's Lifestyle Community. It's on Facebook.
I think I joined your community, actually.
Yes, you did.
Women's Lifestyle Community. Yes. So thank you, Rukshana. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight. And I hope that you had a wonderful experience here today.
It was fun. Thank you for having me, Marcia.
Yes. And now we'll hear from Tina A. Greenbaum.
And so, again, having a woman's business and listening to the two of you, and I hope people appreciate how much goes into having a woman's business and being an entrepreneur and all the different pieces that we're attempting to keep together. Mm-hmm. So my name is Tina Greenbaum, and I am by training a psychotherapist, a clinical social worker, and I call myself a psychospiritual, holistically oriented body-mind person. Mm-hmm. And so for my psychotherapy practice, I have developed and expanded into a program I call Mastery Under Pressure. And so I'm actually looking for people, it could be men, women, who are in business and are experiencing the sort of the roller coaster, the emotional roller coaster of being in business. And so I teach skills. They're called mental skills. It's mental skills training. It's kind of what great athletes do. You were talking, Marcia, before we started about the pressure, the anxiety, a feeling of putting all these pieces together, right? So at one point, you have to be calm inside the body so that the mind is clear enough to be able to make these decisions and have it look like no biggie.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the challenge. Okay, so that's what I call mastery under pressure. That you have enough practice in quieting down the nervous system so that you don't have to worry about that. Though, even though the butterflies may be there and the anxiety may be there, we operate in spite of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if we kind of get into them and then they take over, then the body starts to take over, and then the muscles get tight, and the mind starts to shut down, and the heart starts racing, and we can't be our best selves. So if you're somebody that is looking to up your level of how you present yourself, either as a speaker or in your job where you have to make presentations, or you just want to become bigger and there's a part of you that pulls back because of whatever, a lot of the things that we talked about a little bit earlier, and you want to be able to expand. So this program is called Mastery Under Pressure, and I deliver it in several ways. One way is I have a group program, and right now it's 12 modules, and it's a 6-week program. And so within the 6 weeks, I teach focus, relaxation, dealing with negative self-talk, how to visualize, and dealing with fear, and using fear as your greatest teacher. And so in 6 weeks, it's 12 modules. The shortest is 6 minutes. The longest is 18 minutes. So they're short. And you will be able to have sort of this body-mind training. You won't be able to integrate everything in 6 weeks. I can promise you that. But you will have the program and you'll be able to come back to it over and over and over again. So I offer an individual session at the beginning and an individual session at the end. And in between are 6 group sessions. So you can learn about that. You can connect with me at tina@tinagreenbaum.com. Mm-hmm. You can also go to my website, take a peek there. It's my name, tinagreenbaum.com. And then I also have, which I think is really pretty cool, and you'll get an opportunity to see where you sit on this mental skills level. It's a quiz. And it's a Mastery Under Pressure quiz. And you can find it at masteryunderpressure.net.
Okay.
masteryunderpressure.net, and that will come back to me. And then I also teach these trainings in companies, going into companies, and my mission is to train as many people as I possibly can, because all these things that we're talking about are life skills, critically important. And for those people that are affecting the next generation, it behooves us to really be able to master a lot of these skills so that we can give the world our best and give our children the best.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a bit about me. And I also do have a Facebook community. It's Mastery Under Pressure. And
really?
Yeah, it's a new one. And I'm going to be... the quiz is going to kind of help me and help you kind of figure out where you are and how much you want to kind of learn and where you want to go with it.
So who's your audience, Tina? It's male and female?
Male
corporate or regular?
Corporate or regular.
Okay.
It's basically the kind of person that I'm looking for. The kind of person who is a high achiever, who is willing to work, that is, I love big minds, creativity, people that want to impact other people. We have a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do. We do. Well, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you so much for being on the show. I hope you had a wonderful time here with us.
I had
today.
a wonderful time.
We're a little bit beyond the frame here. Ooh, I hate doing that. I hate doing that. Ooh, but it's all good.
Good job.
Ladies, we are going to close out the show because I want to close with this. I thank you all for being here. We didn't even get a chance to interact with our audience to see if they had any questions, but even after we shut down, we will still see who's on and if they wanted to ask some questions. I wanted to leave you with this because I found that this was so cool. A good husband makes a good wife.
Very true.
And please join us for our next show, which is in February 5th at 9 p.m. We'll be talking about me time. And that's such a good segue because what I have on the wire coming up is S.W.E.L.L Playdates, which the first one will launch in April of this year. S.W.E.L Playdates are a weekend getaway for women to just get back to loving themselves. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a mini workshop. It's like a mini retreat. It's a 2-day, and it's a group of women, no bigger than 25, and we're going to play in a mansion. So, woohoo! Yes, let's get ready to rumble! And now we're at the close of the show. And I just wanted to say a special thank you to our guests. Tina, it has been such a pleasure having you here. Mastery under pressure. Yes, I will definitely take that quiz. And Rukshana, always outdoors, hiking and dancing and just, woo! You know, that's why our energy is just, woo! Yes. So thank you, ladies, for being on the show. I had so much fun with you. And I hope that you had as much fun with us here on the SpeakerMC Show and that you will be back. Yes?
Yes. Thank you, Marsha, for putting all this
thank
together. Thanks for putting all the details together. That just takes a amount of work. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate you recognizing that. Yes, it did take a lot of work.
We do. We do.
So Maya Angelou, one of my favorite ladies in the world, gone but not forgotten. Well, actually, she's right here. I'm sitting on her shoulder. Maya says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I hope that we here at the SpeakerMC Show have, if nothing else, made you feel so ultra special and informed you with some hot topics about designer marriages and brought some insight and harmony to your existence. So until next time, we are out and we thank you for being here with us tonight. And this is the SpeakerMC Show. Good night. Have a fabulous evening.
Bye, everybody. Have a great night.
Have a good night.